Hi everyone, Gianni Di Poce here with you for TheoTRADE, and today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. It was a pretty bumpy ride to start this shortened trading week. Markets were closed yesterday on Monday in observance of President's Day. But so we have a situation where today, Tuesday, was the first trading day of the week. And as a rule, I don't like to put too much stock into the first trading day of the week because it's carrying over a lot of emotional reactions from headlines over the weekend. And truth be told, we didn't really get that many crazy headlines over the weekend, but nonetheless, you did have some headlines this morning. Negotiations going on between the U.S. and Iran. And of course, markets are looking forward to the Supreme Court potentially finally ruling on tariffs, the legality of tariffs. Big picture, you did take out last week's lows pretty much across the board. NQ was down and closed down the most across the indices. The Dow didn't take out last week's low, but the relative strength there is a bit of a concern still here near term. The Russell 2000 was marginally lower on the day. But, as I was doing my weekend review, over the past couple of days, the top performing sector that came onto my radar was utilities. So utilities ran the table last week. It was the best performing sector by far. And when you combine this with energy's leadership year to date, the energy sector has been the top performing sector year to date. You have a situation where we're just simply not in a risk on environment, excuse me. You have all of the right sectors for the defensive case leading and all of the wrong sectors for the bullish case lagging. And this is just a recipe for more chop and more volatility near term. Back a few months ago, I talked about how the NASDAQ's failure to hit a new all-time high since October was a warning sign, and I'd like to see slightly lower prices again. I'm not in the full-blown bear market camp, but I am in the correction camp, and I don't think that the lows are complete yet. At least the weight of the evidence does not point to that being the case yet. So combined with utilities being the top performer last week, and you have, energy being the top performer year to date, this is a sign that we're late sector. So what late cycle? This is the type of leadership that you see in the late stages of the cycle. So what am I looking for in terms of bringing bulls back to the table? Well, I'm looking square at the technology sector, especially semiconductors. I got to give it to chips. Semiconductors have been largely resilient. They've been outperforming, but when you understand that 10 stocks make up 40% of the S&P 500, and I'm looking at specifically what we like to call the Magnificent 10, you do have to approach this market with a bit of caution. You did make a new low in this new index here, but you did close up on the day. Still looking at some big issues in these large cap stocks, especially names like Palantir, basically going sideways, consolidating the losses. Microsoft, just an absolute bloodbath there, along with the overall software sector, just reeling from the recent developments in the artificial intelligence space. And so the good news is that we have a narrative now. The narrative now is that AI is going to take everyone's jobs. AI is going to render all this software obsolete. AI, is giving us all these promises and maybe not delivering on all of it. I'm glad to see that fear starting to creep back into the market because you need that from a sentiment standpoint in order for the big reset. But the fact that you're seeing chips, holding near their highs, this is a good sign. You can consolidate through time, and I got to give it to NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA was up today. It's been going sideways now for 4 months. You do have earnings coming up next week. Could that be a catalyst for a market bottom? Absolutely. Now, I do want to touch on the Supreme Court if we are going to, get the ruling on Friday. It's been delayed like 2 or 3 times already. Either way, if there's a negative reaction at first and you see volatility spike, we're not far from being in a situation where it's time to buy the dip. And in fact, I have been hedging for more downside. I'm still heavy in cash. I have short positions in QQQ and in chips. And, I have a little bit of energy, but one of the things that I'm looking for as a sign that, hey, we're really dropping into a meaningful low is I want to see a broad-based liquidation across all of the sectors. So nothing to be spared. That means utilities, which have been outperforming consumer staples. Look at this run in consumer staples since the start of this year. Parabolic move for this traditionally defensive sector. And so When you usually go into a market bottom, you get broad-based selling. Nothing is spared. Doesn't matter if it's defensive or growth. But what we do look for is an environment where the growth sectors like tech and chips perhaps start to drop less than the rest of the rest of the market. So if the S&P is down 2%, XLK might be down 0.5%. That's when I start to get interested. But the fact of the matter is as long as you have, weakness in names like Tesla, Microsoft, NVIDIA, all of those Mag 10 names, which is basically the Mag 7 plus Broadcom plus Palantir, and there's one more. Um, well, that's fine. We'll get to that later. But these are the big it was advanced micro devices. That's what it was. Advanced micro devices. Excuse me on that. So as long as these ones have issues like AMD, this gap down here, some big problems. So until you close that gap, get back into this sideways action, you're going to continue having choppiness in this market environment. And so that's a big reason why I'm also long bonds right now. And it's not a surprise to see utilities outperforming in this environment as well, because utilities known for their higher dividends, higher yield. And so when rates come down, when the risk-free rate comes down, it makes utilities more attractive. And so, what's been particularly interesting about today is that, the dollar did have a bid. You had a situation earlier in the session where the dollar was up against the yen. It was up against the euro as well, pretty much finished flat on the day. But it's not really been the case lately. They've been seeing the dollar rally with bonds. We had that for a moment earlier today. So I'm watching that very closely because that is classical flight to safety. So between utilities leading, staples doing well, tech underperforming, the yen surging, bonds bidding, it's a very traditional, historical, run-of-the-mill, risk-off environment. And again, I'm not looking for the bottom to fall out in this market. In fact, I think we're, maybe a couple of weeks away from the bottom. Probably not that much more downside in terms of price, but it is something to be monitoring here. So elsewhere in the market, you saw precious metals get sold pretty hard today. Gold all but confirming a lower high. Silver getting hit pretty hard. Crude oil is also down, and that gives me more confidence in the bullish bond thesis. This is one of the things that we've talked about previously with crude oil rallying. It was kind of tough for bonds to continue higher, but now that crude oil is testing former resistance turn support in the $60 to $62 area, if that breaks, we're probably going to go back to retest 55. If that breaks, crude oil is probably going to 45, and things could get really interesting in that situation. If anything, it would reinforce the idea that I've had before that, hey, bonds are going to rally into the summertime, and that is probably going to be good for tech near term. So I'm also looking at cryptocurrencies as a proxy for risk. We are basically consolidating the losses both in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin, there is a pathway for prices to fall as low as 40 to 42,000. There is going to be some support in Bitcoin between 53 to 56,000. Take a look here at Ethereum. I'd love to see these lows from last April retested, and the fact that Bitcoin has not Bitcoin already took out those lows and Ethereum has not tells me that, hey, we're close to the end of this drop, and Ethereum is poised to be the leader coming out of that bottom. And I would like to remind everyone that, hey, a lot of talk about a 4-year cycle being present in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is further along in its 4-year cycle compared to Bitcoin. Ethereum hit its last 4-year low in June of 2022, whereas Bitcoin hit its last 4-year low in November of 2022. So we're talking about a 5-month split. Don't be surprised if Ethereum bottoms first. Bitcoin still suffers a little bit, but overall, guys, you had the VIX spike earlier today, close slightly lower. I still think there's risks in this tape, and we would be wise to pay very close attention to them and just really tread carefully. Listen, we're looking for the certain signals that the market has bottomed, and those signals are tech rebounding, the defensive sectors of the market like chips and utilities starting to slow down. We're not seeing that yet. So until that happens, just stay patient. We are setting up for the biggest and best buying opportunity of 2026. And if you play your cards right, this can make your year. So we're almost there. Stay tuned, stay locked in. I hope to see you in the TheoTRADE chat room. That's all for now, everyone. Catch you in the room. Take care. Talk to you soon.